So guys, in the last 2 years, I've worked with over 300 plus clients, helping them get started and transition from their current job to working full-time in the remote high-ticket sales industry. Now, 95% of the clients I work with have never taken a sales call in their life and have absolutely zero sales experience. And the majority of them, a very good sizable amount, have gone to earn 5 to 40K plus a month. And there's a ton of case studies on my YouTube channel. I've helped over 50 plus clients go from 0 to 10K plus a month. And what I teach works. And I've interviewed for my own company, which is a 7-figure education company, very recently, 4 setters, 4 closers. And really, I've observed over working with so many people, the main key traits and the main key things that separate what makes people actually pass interviews and get these dream offers and get these dream jobs, even without experience, and what people lack and what actually prevents them from actually getting these roles in the first place. And so even if you can get the interviews in the first place, and even if you can screen and you know all the questions to ask to actually get the jobs in the first place, if you can't get good at interviewing skills, you will not make the money that you want to make, bottom line. And so the better you get at basically, AKA sales calls for your business, the better jobs you're actually going to get. So I'm going to outlay all the main things that I would be looking for if I was going to hire you. Now, another piece of context here as well, by the way. I've taken a company from 7 figures to multi-7 figures doing sales management. So I've hired for other companies, I've hired for my own company, and I've seen so much data from what works and what doesn't. So let's get into it. So the first thing is professionalism. Now, you might think and hear that and go, that is really simple, but most people overlook it and most people don't do it. It would absolutely shock you to the core of how many people do not show up as a professional for these jobs that they're looking for. Now, keep in mind, these opportunities have the potential of 10, 20, 30K plus a month, right? More income than most people probably watching this video have ever earned in their entire life. And it takes usually 3, 4, 5 year degrees to actually earn that level of income. So why not show up to the job interview in the way that you would treat an interview for a job for like as you were interviewing to be a lawyer or a doctor? You need to treat and have the bar and the standard up to the same level. This goes into what you're wearing. If you're wearing a blank tee, that's not enough, right? Wear a button-up top, wear a polo. What does your background look like? You know, obviously you don't have to have this. This is a YouTube, a video studio, a content creation studio, but make it look professional. If you've got your childhood bed, you're in your bedroom, or you've got a bunch of stuff that is really distracting your background, get rid of it, right? Look professional, look sharp. Like a lot of people don't show up in this way. And another thing as well is communication as well. If you're talking to a 7, 8 figure founder of like, hey bro, what's up, dude? Like, you need to communicate as if you were and present yourself as a professional, as if it were a massive job, because it absolutely is. And I think so many people really lack this. So make sure that you're keeping tabs on how you show up on these interviews. It's not just what you say, it's about how you present yourself. So the next thing is hunger and desire. Now, to most founders, if not all founders, this cannot be built, it cannot be manufactured. You simply have it or you don't. I have so many clients that I can think of that have come in and crushed it, and are many of the case studies on my YouTube channel that have this same mentality. They are back against the wall. They are going to figure it out. They're going to make it work, and they're going to work all hours, every hour, to actually figure it out and make shit happen. And I know that's quite different to what you've probably been told in the marketing of 3 to 5 hours a day, and then you're going to be, making 10K plus a month working from Bali. That is not the case, and you need to show up to these interviews willing to outcompete and outwork every single person on that team. When I was in my first role, although I made absolutely zero money from it, I outcompete and I outworked everyone on the team, and I outlasted over 6 other sales reps. Now keep in mind, it was a bad offer and I probably shouldn't have done that, but the principle still matters. You need to be willing to earn your stripes. If you have no sales experience, be willing to take a setter job. Be willing to, do the dirty work. Be willing to go in the trenches. If you're just getting, started as a closer, be willing to work every hour you can. Be willing to have them fill up your calendar. Be willing to do the work that others won't. Because again, if you're coming onto this industry, like into this industry and like going on to interview for an offer, going, oh yeah, I want to do like just 6 calls a day and I kind of want to work part-time. Yes, some offers that may work, and yes, you can do part-time offers. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that you need to show up with a level of tenacity that is undeniable on these interviews. So many people show up with the energy of just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, right? You need to take this extremely seriously, which kind of blends with the professionalism thing, but also the hunger and desire need to be shown. For what you don't have in experience and you don't have in capability, you need to make up with hunger and desire. And not just tell them that, show them that. Show them action, show them implementation of you doing this in past careers or whatever else. Do what you can do to communicate that you will outwork and outcompete everybody on that sales team. Okay, so the next thing is the difference between a sales professional versus a high ticket closer. And knowing the difference between the two will land you more high paying jobs. What is a high ticket closer and what is a sales professional? So a high ticket closer, the problem with high ticket closer as the term is that it's just a label for a salesperson who works in the education, info, coaching industry market. And what I've found is people who label themselves as high ticket closers, who call themselves high ticket closers and act like high ticket closers, usually never get the top jobs. And here's why. Because what they've been told to and lied to about the expectations and reality of the market, the industry, the job and the career itself, the business model, is that they are going to just show up and take 3, 4, 5, 6 calls a day inbound, and they're just going to magically make 10K plus, and their wallet's going to be full because they got told by their guru and their mentor that that's the reality. But when you get in the industry, you find out very quickly that's very far from the truth. And if you show up as the guy who has those expectations, other people who are sales professionals will wipe the floor with you. So what is a sales professional? A sales professional is the guy who is willing to do the work, who is willing to do the role of an actual sales professional, an actual sales representative, right? The guys who are willing to work hard, the guys who are willing to do the extra mile, who are willing to do what they need to do to actually bring the cash to the door. Now, this is what should be expected, but it's not. And a lot of people just do not have the level of tenacity it's needed to be successful and be a top winner in this career and this business model. And so again, a sales professional is the guy that does his follow-ups, the guy that calls his no-shows, that he calls other people's no sales, tries to make sales out of that, and builds their ecosystem around them of what actually creates a proper professional salesperson. If you're just basically expecting in the job and you're communicating in the interview that you want to just show up and get paid, it's not going to happen. You need to go the extra mile and actually do what the role is stated you need to do, not just show up and get leads just kind of hit you in the face and do nothing else. The next thing that most of these guys absolutely do not like is if you've never invested in yourself. Now, granted and given, there are some cases where people can kind of make through interviews with never investing in yourself. But when you've actually invested in yourself, it could be a training like mine. It could be sales training. It could be something. But if you've never actually invested in yourself, how can you ever expect the prospects you're talking to do the same? I've spent over 20K in one go on sales training. And so when I ask prospects to pay me 5K, it's a cakewalk. It's nothing because I'm not asking them to do something that I haven't done myself. Also, investing in your sales training and investing into a mentor shows commitment to the skill, the craft, and the career. If you've never invested in yourself and you're out here applying for jobs, it just shows the business owner how little seriousness you are taking with this career. Like, you're not really actually showing up as if it's something that you are living, breathing, and this is all that you do. There is someone out there that does, and they're going to outcompete you on these interviews. And so you need to invest in yourself. And I'm not saying you need to invest $10,000, $20,000 plus dollars on your sales skills and training. I'm always a huge proponent and encourage you to get better sales skills. But even just 5K, even just something, even like books, something, you have to show that you've actually committed to learning the skill and you're actually focused. Right? If you're just one of those guys that are kind of floating around, you've never done a mentorship, you've never done any training, these guys won't take you seriously if you won't take yourself seriously. And the last thing on the list is full accountability and responsibility. And so the best closers, the best setters, they always take full 100% responsibility and accountability for their results in any given company. Even if the marketing was bad, even if the leads sucked, even if the management was poor, even if those scenarios may have happened, you need to do everything you can possibly do to get the results that you want to make out of the company that you work with. And if you display that in the interviews, if you display past experiences of you doing that, if you display how hard you've worked, what you've done when you've been faced with situations, resilience, and that you've not blamed other people for the fact that you're not where you want to be, big 7-figure, 8-figure founders absolutely love that. And a lot of people are victims. They say it's the offer was bad or the leads were bad, all these type of things, which again, may have been the case, unfortunately, because there's a lot of bad offers out there, but there are also a lot of good. Even if that was the case, it's how can we take responsibility? How can we take full accountability for our results? Because when you're on their team, they're looking at, even when the marketing's bad, even when things are going to shit, what is this guy going to do in terms of how is he going to show up when everything's going bad? Is he going to blame me? Is he going to blame the sales manager? Or is he going to do exactly what he needs to do to bring the result to the table every single day, week and month without complaining, right? This is a massive thing that people look for in, successful sales reps. And it's something that I also look for too. So again, to wrap things up, this bottom line is what these multi-6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure founders are really looking for at the back of their mind, even if they don't know it. And I know this from working with over 300 plus clients now and placing them in some of the top offers in the industry. And I've worked with some very, very successful guys in the info space. This is what they're looking for at the end of the day. And most people can't do these simple things. So if you can, you're going to do very well in this industry, not only in the short term, but the longer term as well. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.